Alright, let's talk about something that's been turning heads lately. Relationships where the woman is 20 years older or even more than the man. For some, it's shocking. For others, it's the new normal. But the truth is this type of relationship isn't as rare as it used to be. From Hollywood to real life, we're seeing more and more couples breaking the old rules of age and love. So today, let's dig deep. Why do these relationships happen? Can they actually work long term? And were they ever normal in the past? Let's break it down. In today's world, everything is changing: careers, family values, even what we call normal love. Modern society gives both men and women freedom to choose what really makes them happy. For many women, life doesn't end after 40 or 50 anymore. In fact, for a lot of them, that's when real life begins. They've built careers, gained confidence, and know exactly who they are. So when a younger man meets an older woman, he's not meeting someone fragile or unsure of herself. He's meeting someone grounded, confident, and emotionally stable. And that's attractive. It's not just about looks, it's about energy, maturity, and balance. Younger men often say, older women actually listen. They don't play games. They know what they want. And let's be honest, in a world full of dating apps, ghosting, and endless confusion, that kind of emotional clarity is rare. So what's behind it psychologically? For men, being with an older woman can feel liberating. There's less pressure to prove yourself or fit into some masculine stereotype. Many say it feels more equal, more open, more real. For women, it's often about feeling alive again. A younger man brings freshness, energy, and excitement. He reminds her that age doesn't define passion, mindset does. Of course, there's also the deeper layer, emotional safety. Older women tend to understand emotions better. They can communicate without turning every argument into a battlefield. That emotional intelligence, that's gold. It's what many long-term couples, even same-age ones, still struggle to find. Now, let's talk about what actually makes these relationships work. First, mutual respect. If either partner treats the other like a project, it fails. No one wants to be someone's experiment or trophy. Second, clear communication. Talk about expectations, not just about love and romance, but about lifestyle, family, even aging. Because pretending the age gap doesn't exist, that's not honesty. Third, shared goals. Every successful couple, regardless of age, builds something together: a dream, a business, a creative project, even travel. When love is combined with a shared purpose, the age gap fades away. And finally, humor. You can't take yourself too seriously when the world is watching. Laugh together, especially at the comments you'll get from others. Let's look at some real examples. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, is 24 years younger than his wife, Brigitte. When they first met, she was his teacher. People mocked them, called it a phase. But they've been together for decades now, still strong, still united. Sam Taylor-Johnson, a British film director, is married to actor Aaron Taylor-Johnson. She's 23 years older than him. They've been together over a decade, raising kids, building careers. In Hollywood, you'll find examples everywhere. From Julianne Moore to Jennifer Lopez, from Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher in the past, to countless others today. Some relationships ended, some lasted. But what's clear is that age alone didn't decide success or failure. What mattered was chemistry, maturity, and purpose. Even historically, men dating much younger women was always accepted. But when the tables turned, society panicked. Now that dynamic is finally being challenged. Let's step back in time. In the 18th and 19th centuries, age gaps in relationships were common, but in the opposite direction. Older men married young women, often for social or economic reasons. Love was secondary. It was about survival, inheritance, alliances. But even then, there were stories hidden or quiet ones where older women loved younger men. In literature and art, you can find them if you look closely. The difference is, society simply didn't allow those women to live openly. They were labeled as scandalous, unnatural, or desperate. Today, that stigma is fading. And that's not just progress. That's evolution in how we define love and worth. Here's the real question. Can it actually last? The answer, yes, if both people are emotionally aligned. The key isn't age, it's mindset. You can have two 40-year-olds who act like teenagers and a 25-year-old with the emotional depth of someone twice his age. Long-term success comes from shared values, communication, and respect for each other's life stages. Yes, the physical difference might become more visible over time, but the emotional bond often grows stronger if the foundation is solid. And let's be honest, in a world where even same-age couples struggle to stay together for more than a few years, a 20-year age gap is hardly the biggest challenge. Of course, it's not all fairy tales. There are real challenges too. Society can be cruel. People will whisper, judge, or assume the worst. He's using her. She's controlling him. Family pressure can also be huge. Friends may not understand it. And if one partner wants kids while the other doesn't, that can create deep conflict. Financial imbalance can play a role too, especially if one partner supports the other. So, honesty from day one is critical. But here's the thing. Every relationship has its version of hard mode. For some, it's money. For others, distance, culture, or religion. For these couples, it's age. It's just another challenge to work through. You know when it really works? When both people stopped caring what others think. When love is not about validation, but connection. When both are mature enough to give freedom instead of control. And when they both know. Age might change the body, but not the heart. That's when it becomes something real. Something lasting. So, are relationships with a 20-year age gap the new normal? Maybe not yet for everyone, but we're getting there. Love today doesn't follow the same rules it did 50 years ago. And maybe that's a good thing, because real connection doesn't care about calendars. It cares about honesty, kindness, and the courage to love without limits. So if you've ever been told, she's too old, or he's too young, remember this. The only people who get to define your story are the two of you living it. If you enjoyed this story and want more deep conversations about love, life, and what really connects us, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Because love, in any form, deserves to be understood.